Welcome to the River City Wiffle Ball Classic Rulebook Overview. This video is designed as a guide for umpires to prepare you for game day, but it also might be advantageous for players who want to review the rules ahead of game day to know what to expect when they arrive at the tournament. Our agenda for this video will be, first of all, covering the entire rulebook, drawing attention to certain rules, providing 10 tips for umpires at the end of the video, and covering our ultimate purpose and goals for event day as the umpiring crew. Section 1 of the rulebook covers the field of play. 1.1, base paths are 42 feet in length. 1.2, the home run fence will vary by field but will have an approximate distance of 90 feet. 1.3, the distance from the pitching rubber to home plate is 35 feet. 1.4, the strike zone will be 20 inches wide and 30 inches high. The strike zone will be 24 inches above the ground at its lowest point and will be placed 3 feet behind home plate. Section 2, game structure. The tournament is divided into two divisions, majors, which are competitive, and minors, which are recreational. 2.2, the tournament is a double elimination tournament. After one loss, a team will be moved to the loser's bracket. 2.2a, the winner of the winner's bracket and the winner of the loser's bracket will meet in the championship game of each division. The team coming from the loser's bracket will need to win 2 consecutive games to secure the trophy. 2.2b, teams that lose their first 2 games will be placed in a single elimination tournament called the Toilet Bowl. This is a mini standalone tournament, does not connect to the larger tournament, and is simply designed to ensure that no one plays only 2 games and goes home at the River City Wiffle Ball Classic. Rule 2.2, home team is designated by a coin flip. 2.3, games will consist of 6 innings. An inning will consist of 3 outs per team. 2.4, games will have a 30-minute time limit. A new inning cannot begin after the time limit expires. This rule will be strictly enforced by our umpiring crew to ensure that we stay on schedule on event day. 2.5, there is a 10-run limit per inning per team for the first 3 innings. So if any team scores 10 runs in one of the first 3 innings, the inning will automatically end. 2.6, there is a 15-run mercy rule after 4 innings or a 12-run mercy rule after 5 innings. 2.7, if a game is tied after 6 innings or after the time limit expires, the game will go into extra innings. Beginning in extra innings, each team will begin each inning with a runner already on second base. Section 3, team structure. Each team will consist of 5 players. 3.2, only 4 players at a time are on defense, including the pitcher. The non-fielding player is considered a designated hitter. 3.3, all 5 players bat, and the batting order must be established at the beginning of the game and cannot be changed at any time. The designated hitter can be a different player each inning, but this does not change the batting order. 3.4, players can switch positions between batters at any time. This includes the designated hitter who can enter the field of play to replace a defensive player, provided the umpire has granted a timeout. Switching positions, including the designated hitter, does not change the batting order. 3.5, once the 5 players of a team have been established and the tournament play has begun, no new players may be added, and no player from a different team is allowed to substitute for any previous players. In the event that a player is unable to continue playing for any reason, that team is allowed to continue with 4 players. In the event that 2 players from the same team are unable to continue for any reason, that team is disqualified from play. Section 4, batting. There are walks, which occur when a batter receives 4 balls, and there are strikeouts, which occurs when a batter receives 3 strikes. All batters will begin their at-bat with no balls and 1 strike, also known as an 0-1 count. This is important for umpires to remember. 4.2, a ball that is not swung at but that enters the strike zone will be considered a strike. 4.3, a foul ball on a 3rd strike does not constitute an out. 4.4, all batted balls landing over the designated home run fence in fair territory will be considered a home run. 4.5, any batted ball, fair or foul, that is caught in the air by a defensive player is an out. 4.6, There are no hit by pitches. If a batter is hit by a pitch, this will be counted as a ball. If the batter blocks any portion of the strike zone with his or her body and is hit by a pitch, this will constitute an out at the discretion of the umpire. 4.7, bunting and swinging bunts are illegal and will constitute an out. 4.8, any batted ball that hits the ground in fair territory is classified as follows based on where the ball stops making forward progress. Inside the 35-foot arc is an out. So this hit would be an out if the ball stopped making forward progress at this point. Inside the 60-foot arc is a single. If the ball stopped making forward progress at this point, it would be a single. Inside the home run fence, but not over the home run fence, is a double. And finally, if a ball stops making forward progress or comes to rest in a triple zone, a triple will be awarded. Of note, we have seen balls go into the triple zone, bounce off the fence, and then go back toward the field of play into the double zone. In this scenario, note that the ball most likely stopped making forward progress when it struck the fence inside the triple zone. As a result, a triple would be awarded. A batted ball that goes down the foul line will be judged fair and foul based on where it first makes contact with the ground after passing the base. If the ball does not pass the base, it will be judged fair or foul based on where forward progression of the ball stops. If we look at the red dot in front of third base, that ball, if it came to rest right there, would be fair. If the ball had veered into foul territory and then came back fair there, that would still be a fair ball. The ball after third base that is in fair territory, if the ball landed there and first made contact with the ground and then veered foul, that would be a fair ball. Looking at this ball to the left of that, if the ball landed in foul territory and then veered fair, that would be a foul ball. Again, if the ball never reaches the base, we are looking at where forward progression of the ball stops. If the ball does pass the base, we're looking for the location where it first touches the ground after passing the base. Section 5, base running. 5.1, there will be no live base running. Players may walk or jog to the appropriate base after a successful hit. 5.2, players must move to and stand on the correct base. If a player is on base and it is their turn to bat, a teammate must take their place on that base. There are no ghost runners. Section 5, base running. Base runners advance the same number of bases as the batter. A single would result in base runners advancing 1 base, a double 2 bases, and a triple 3 bases. A home run scores all base runners. Base runners do not need to be forced forward to advance. So if a runner was on second base and the batter hit a double, the runner on second base would score. If a runner was on first base and the batter hit a triple, the runner on first base would score. So the runners will advance the same number of bases as do the batter. Section 6, fielding. The pitcher must have 1 foot on the pitching rubber and 1 foot in front of the pitching rubber at the point of release. The pitcher may not backpedal until after the ball is released. If a pitcher removes his foot from the pitching rubber prior to the release of the ball, a balk will be called. All base runners will advance 1 base and a ball will be awarded to the batter. Umpires, we really want to ensure that pitchers are keeping their foot on the pitching rubber until the point of release. 6.2. There is no required arc on pitches, and there are no speed restrictions on pitches. 6.3. Fielders may play anywhere in fair territory. Players may switch defensive positions at any time. Designated hitters do not play the field. However, teams may switch their designated hitter with a defensive player between batters, provided the umpire has granted a timeout. Regardless of position switches, including the designated hitter, the batting order will remain the same for the entirety of the game. Section 7, equipment. All teams must use a bat provided by tournament officials, or they may bring their own bat. If a team brings their own bat for a game, the other team must be permitted to use that bat during the game. An umpire will issue 1 warning to teams using their own bat, but not allowing the other team to use the same bat. A second violation will constitute disqualification of that team. Bats may be taped, but cannot be modified in any other way, including filling the bat with sand or other material to increase the weight of the bat. Umpires, just keep an eye on the bats that the teams are using and ensure those bats are available to both teams playing in that game. 7.2, no metal cleats or spikes are allowed at the River City Wiffle Ball Classic. Section 8, conduct. 8.1, any team or player engaging in behavior that the tournament commissioner deems to be unsportsmanlike will be removed from the tournament immediately at the tournament commissioner's discretion. 8.2, each team captain that is responsible for monitoring the behavior of his or her teammates and their fans. If this monitoring becomes difficult, the team captain will seek the assistance of the tournament commissioner. 8.3, slow play or stalling is not allowed and will constitute unsportsmanlike conduct. The tournament commissioner, at his or her discretion, will issue one warning, after which future violations will result in forfeiture of the game and removal from the tournament. 8.4, the tournament commissioner has full discretion to interpret the rules and to make decisions and to resolve disputes on tournament day. The tournament commissioner will not overturn judgment calls made by the umpires. The tournament commissioner will only interpret and enforce rules and appropriate conduct as needed. Players, you are welcome to turn the video off now. You're also welcome to watch, but here are 10 tips specifically for our umpires. Umpire tip number 1, the scorer's table. As an umpire, your home base is the scorer's table, located along the first baseline of Bossy Field. This is where you will check in upon arrival, receive your t-shirt, ball strike counter, and your first clipboard of the day. If you have concerns or questions at any time, you will come to the scorer's table. Tip number 2, the clipboard system. Before your first and every game, you will be given a clipboard with a blank score sheet on it. The score sheet will include the game number, the field number, team names, team captains, and an umpire name. As soon as your game ends, please take your completed score sheet to the scorer's table and you will be given the clipboard for your next game. It's essential that we get score sheets to the scorer's table as quickly as possible. Each clipboard will also contain an official rulebook for you to reference at any time while on the field. Tip number 3, keep them moving. You will not be responsible for timekeeping, but one of your most important jobs is to keep the tournament moving and on schedule. All fields begin play at the same time. There will be one large clock counting down from 30 minutes on the large Bossy Field scoreboard. We want to complete the coin flip and begin the game as soon as possible. Please encourage teams to hustle in and out between innings. Attempt to minimize delay between pitches and between batters. Strictly enforce not beginning any new innings after the 30-minute timer has elapsed. At least one pitch must be thrown before the timer elapses to constitute the beginning of a new inning. We will not begin a new round until all 8 fields have finished the previous round. We will not know your game is finished until you turn your score sheet into the scorer's table. So please try to get your score sheet turned in as quickly as possible after your game concludes. Our goal is to start a new round of games every 45 minutes beginning at 8:30 a.m. Staying on schedule is the key to a smooth event, so please keep them moving. Tip 4, bring a coin or coins. Each game, the home team will be determined at the start of the game by a coin flip, which you as the umpire will complete. So you will want to have a coin or coins on hand on tournament day. Tip 5, protect your balls. Each field will begin the day with 25 wiffle balls. Do your best to protect those balls to ensure they stay on your field all day. We can issue more if needed, but our goal is to get through the day with the initial 25 per field. Balls will frequently leave the field of play. Try to have them quickly return to your field. Your field volunteer can be helpful here. If you are on fields 2, 3, 4, or 5, then it is possible for a home run to travel over the larger Bossy Field wall. On these fields, it is important to have your field volunteer prepared to go behind the wall to retrieve a ball in the event of a home run. Sometimes pickup games break out on fields between games. If this happens, just try to keep an eye on your bats and your balls to make sure your supplies are there for the next game. Tip 6, field volunteers. Every field will have a field volunteer assigned to that field. Please get to know and involve your field volunteer early. This person can be responsible for things like shagging balls that go out of play, flipping the scoreboard, retrieving supplies, or relaying messages to the scorer's table on your behalf. They are there to support you and your field, so please direct them in the way that is most helpful to you. If you are not communicating with or involving your field volunteer, they may drift away to help in other areas. This is the nature of volunteers. They like to stay busy, so please engage and involve them. If at any time there is not a field volunteer present on your field, please notify the tournament commissioner or the scorer's table immediately. Tip 6, umpire positioning. If we have a right-handed hitter, we're probably going to have the 4 players of defense positioned like this. The first green dot is the pitcher. They're going to put another player in the shortstop area to try to guard balls from getting past him into the double area. They'll have someone in left field, and then they'll have someone in slightly right center, so you can see it is a pull game. In this event, the best position for the umpire is the red dot. So you can see here, you can clearly see the ball strike zone. You can clearly see if a ball goes over the double or the single line, and you have a pretty good view of the fair foul line. If a left-handed batter comes to the plate, this will completely reverse, and you should assume the position on the other side of the pitcher's mound. Tip number 8, don't overthink your role. We only make 3 types of calls. We call number 1, fair and foul calls. Number 2, ball and strike calls. And number 3, determine if a ball has passed the single, double, or triple line. There are no safe or out calls. There are no bang bang plays. This is a very relaxed style of umpiring. Tip number 9, it's just a fundraiser. This is a magical phrase that you can use to ease the tempers and conflict that can naturally arise during a competitive event. Remind them that we're here to end homelessness and that we're all serving a greater good by being a part of this event together. And for you, the umpire, you will probably make mistakes, and that is not a problem. Just do your best, have fun, ask for help if you need it, and remember, it's just a fundraiser. Tip number 10, finally, let's keep in mind our larger purpose as umpires for tournament day. Number 1, we are ambassadors for the tournament. Let's encourage everyone to have fun and encourage everyone to be good sports and support one another. Number 2, keep the tournament moving and on schedule. We're thinking about our 30-minute time limit, starting games quickly, and not starting a new inning after 30 minutes has elapsed. And number 3, we're there to enforce the rules to the best of our ability to enhance the experience of our players. This concludes the River City Wiffle Ball Classic Rule Book and Umpire Overview. Thank you for agreeing to join us on Tournament Day. Thank you for being part for this great event, and we look forward to seeing you at Bosse Field.